Good morning. Welcome to People's Church. We are not only a welcoming congregation, we are an eighth principle congregation. That means we welcome people of all sexual orientations, all genders, all races, all ethnicities. We are actively anti-racist and anti-oppression of all groups of people, and we act on our beliefs. We welcome you, whether you're a long-term member, a first-time visitor, or somewhere in between. We welcome you to walk with us as we all take our spiritual journeys through life, regardless of background, religious history, belief system, love life, social status, body type, or age. If you're curious, courageous, and committed to growth, you are warmly welcomed to People. My name is Kathleen Mavidi. And in the spirit of the year that keeps on giving, I'm actually using my phone for a change, and this is why we don't usually do it. I'm going to be the worship associate today, as well as the hymn leader. Angie Pierce Jennings is going to zoom in as our worship leader. Brian Davis is our guest musician. Bill Hart is running the sound. Jackie Wedeking and Gary McGraw are running video and internet outreach. Because this is the decade that seems to keep on giving, we have multiple announcements. You may have read in the e-weekly that the bowl we use for the candle ceremony got broken. And we do have a long-term temporary replacement if we need it. And it may or may not be perfect for us. So if you have a bowl you would like to bring so that we could possibly use it long-term or just have it, that would be great. Also, we want to apologize for the communal brain burp that happened this morning. Some folks showed up for the Forum on Death and Dying, and because we are all dealing with COVID brain, there was a miscommunication about whether it would be live or on Zoom. So we will get that rescheduled as soon as possible. Sorry for the mix-up. And last but not least, because none of that is enough, something went funky with the west door of our church. That's the red one that the ramp leads up to leads into the hallway right by all the offices. It's broken. It's really broken. If you try to use it, it will be more broken. So please, 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 don't. There are signs, there are barricades. They're there for a reason. So if you need to come into church, please let Christine know. She can come let you in through the Gordon Avenue exit or through the parking lot exit. I think that's all the craziness to share. So now Brian will start us in worship with his version of Rising Green.
Thank you, Brian. That was beautiful. Well, good morning, everyone. It's wonderful to be with you as we settle into this time together in beloved community. There's something about that phrase, beloved community, that touches my heart and brings tears to my eyes when I really think about what it means. We have that. We continue to evolve with that and continue to widen the circle of that here at People's Church. During the month of February, our theme is widening the circle. Today, we'll continue to ponder that. I invite us to consider circles and webs that we are all a part of in our lives. I invite us to widen our awareness, imagine creatively, and consider even the circles where we're not necessarily the center of things. We're still part of those circles. We'll spend some time today in worship in a guided loving kindness meditation where we'll offer loving kindness to ourselves, expanding that notion and that well wish to all beings. We'll consider our own longing and our belonging, individually and collectively. So, let's open our hearts and stretch ourselves to recognize all the many connections that we are already blessed with. And let's widen the circle together. For our opening words, I will share a Rumi poem with you all. You might recognize some of the words. It's called A Great Wagon. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full even to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth across the door sill where the two worlds touch. The door is round and open. Don't go back to sleep. Now Kathleen and Judy will lead us in our first hymn, number 346, Come Sing a Song with Me. The words will be on our screen.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and rose in the winter time. Come, dream a rose with me. Come, share a rose with me. Come, share a rose
next we'll light our chalice together. Kathleen will light the chalice in the sanctuary, and the words will be on your screen. These words by Eric A. Heller Wagner. Blessed is the fire that burns deep in the soul. It is the flame of the human spirit, touched into being by the mystery of life. It is the fire of reason, the fire of compassion, the fire of community, the fire of justice, the fire of faith. It is the fire of love burning deep in the human heart, the divine glow in every life. And continuing with our affirmation, love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. I have a reflection for all ages today, and I call it Thinking in Circles. Did you know that circles are sacred symbols? Just think about that for a minute. Considering circles as sacred symbols. They are everywhere around us in nature and in us as we're part of nature. We look with the circle of our eyes. We sing with the circle of our mouths. When we hug someone, we embrace them in the circle of our arms. The sun, which gives us life, is a bright circle of light. The moon is a mysterious circle that pulls the tides and pulls us. This beautiful, mysterious circle that we can't see all the time is still there. The earth is a circle, a sacred circle of life. We are part of circles, our circle of friends, the circle of our families. We are part of a whole great big expansive circle of life. There's just something special about circles. The idea of it, the shape of it, the drawing of it, literally the drawing of it. There's something comforting and creative and beautiful about physically drawing a circle. Circles can metaphorically hold and even bring out our ideas and our feelings. Circles can show us our connections. So I like art, and I'm going to share my screen in a moment to show you a circle reflection that really touched my heart, and it might work for you too. It is one that one of my really good soul friends shared with me, and it's a creative way to kind of reflect and connect about the previous year coming into the new year, this new year that we're still beginning. So I'm going to share my screen and show you what I'm talking about. So this is a beautiful reflection that was shared by a friend, and I've had a lot of fun with this. I'm still continuing to work with this. This was designed not by me or by my friend, but it was designed by Wendy Ball, and she based that on an On Being blog by Courtney E. Martin back in December of 2017. So this is a really cool thing that's on the internet that we can print, and it's just a regular size sheet of paper. And while I have my screen shared, I'll just point out a few things if you can read this. So it's this idea of 2021, gathering up some thoughts from that and carrying into 2022. Some reflections These are the people that have blessed me. They enriched my life in a big way. So these are little circles where maybe you could write the names of people who blessed you in the past year or bless you today. Up here, we see a couple of circles drawn for us and the suggestion in 2021. These are two insights I gained in the School of Life. And then over here on the side, these are 3 books or podcasts or encounters or films that stay with me from this year. And that's actually the part that I found really interesting. I'm going to stop my share and just kind of show you my own little coloring of this. So this has been really fun. I have been coloring this and working with it, and I'm still not finished. I might never finish, but that's okay. I'm just pondering. And so I've gotten out my colored pencils and I'm drawing in around the circles. I'm drawing the connecting little waves. And I really focused in on these are the 3 books that stayed with me from the previous year. Can you think of books that you read during the previous year that really connected with you, that you really loved? Maybe you read those by yourself, or maybe you read them as a family. Maybe your parents or your aunt or uncle or your grandparents read you a book. Just think about that for a minute. What was it about that that you loved, that you carry with you? Well, for me, the 3 books that I loved from this past year were The Secret Garden. This is a really old one. This was written like 100 years ago. Has anybody read this one? Maybe by show of hands? Yeah, a couple people. This one, Church of the Wild. I love this one. This was a newly published book last year. And then Mary Poppins, which is another old one that was written many decades ago. And the thing that really connected me with those books was that they talked about nature and eco-spirituality. So I'll just read a quote from the Church of the Wild that really struck me. In this book, the author writes, "The skies, the waters, the deer, the forests, these are speaking all the time. We may have forgotten that we have the capacity to understand their voices and to speak with them, ask their advice, and seek their wisdom." Isn't that cool? The idea of being in nature and being in conversation with deer and forests and waters and skies. We're connected and part of this circle of life, even when we're not speaking the same language. The other thing that really felt connecting and encircling about that book is that one of my really good friends suggested that book to me. So that made it extra special. Then the other book, Mary Poppins. So I have to admit, in my adult years is the first time I've actually read this book. But I saw the movie many decades ago, and I have this memory of my sister and I watching this movie. So I feel connected to this author and this illustrator from many, many decades ago. I feel connected with my sister because I have the memory of watching the movie together. And I'll just read a little excerpt. I don't want to spoil anything in case you haven't read it. But in chapter 9, called John and Barbara's Story, it's about 2 twin babies who are in their nursery and they're having a conversation with the sun. They're having a conversation with a golden shaft of sunlight who is dancing through their window. "How soft, how sweet you are. I love you, says baby Barbara, holding her hands to the shining warmth. Good girl, said the sunlight approvingly, and moved up over her cheeks and into her hair with a caressing movement. I love that image of being in conversation with the sun, and I never thought about that until I read this chapter. That every day the sun is encircling us in light. When the sunlight comes through your window and touches your face and your hair, that's like a conversation. So I'm thinking about the wideness of the circle. We're part of the earth, we're in that circle, and we're part of the whole solar system. The last thing I'll mention is from the book The Secret Garden. Now, this technically is a children's book, but I feel like this is, again, one of those all ages books. And I don't know who gave this to me, but this is a really old copy that I think I received when I was probably 7 or 8 years old in second grade. And I've kept this on my bookshelf from my childhood farm to college to my first apartment to my grown up home. And I never read it until this winter. I read it and I absolutely loved it. So I highly recommend this. This is one that talks about this magical secret garden, and it really brought up a lot for me in terms of my love of nature, the conversations that I have without talking to animals and flowers and trees and just the earth herself or their self, however you think of that. So, what comes up for you as we're talking about circles and talking about things from the past year flowing into this year? I think I want to stick with this idea of drawing circles for reflection. Anybody can do this. We can all freehand and draw a circle. It doesn't have to be perfect. And we might want to reflect on our family circle or our friend circle or what it means to be in beloved community. Also, I have some stencils that I like to use to draw circles. So you could just get a piece of paper, draw some circles of different shapes, connect them, pick your favorite colors, and just see what opens up. But you don't need fancy stencils. You could take a glass dish and just trace around it. So set it down on a piece of paper and just trace around it for your circle. You could take a plastic lid and trace around it. And it's kind of fun as a family to look around the house and find all the circles. I think this is a good one too. This is the little candle I'm going to light later today, and it's a tinier circle, so this will be a nice one for variety. So it's fun to think about circles artistically and fun to think about them as something that we're part of, our family, our friends, our church, and beyond, the whole universe.
Our first reading is called In Praise of the Earth by John Donahue. Let us bless the imagination of the earth that knew early the patience to harness the mind of time, waited for the seas to warm, ready to welcome the emergence of things dreaming of voyages among the stillness of land. And how light knew to nurse the growth until the face of the earth brightened beneath a vision of color. When the ages of ice came and sealed the earth inside an endless coma of cold, the heart of the earth held hope, storing fragments of memory, ready for the return of the sun. Let us thank the earth that offers ground for home and holds our feet firm to walk in space open to infinite galaxies. Let us salute the silence and certainty of mountains, their sublime stillness, their dream-filled hearts. The wonder of a garden, trusting the first warmth of spring until its black infinity of cells becomes charged with dreams. Then the silent, slow nurture of the seed's self, coaxing it to trust the act of death. The humility of the earth that transfigures all that has fallen of outlived growth. The kindness of the earth, opening to receive our worn forms into the final stillness. Let us ask forgiveness of the earth for all our sins against her, for our violence and poisonings of her beauty. Let us remember within us the ancient clay holding the memory of seasons, the passion of the wind, the fluency of water, the warmth of fire, the quiver touch of sun, and shadowed sureness of moon. That we may awaken to live to the full the dream of the earth, who chose us to emerge and incarnate its hidden night in mind, spirit, and light. Now, buckle up your seatbelts, because we're going to be singing number 1067, Mother Earth, Beloved Garden. Words are on your screen. Mother Earth, beloved garden, living treasure underfoot. All our days you ground our being, sage and thistle, grass and root. Herbs to heal us, plants to feed us, land to till and tend and plow. With the pendant deep as midnight north, we ask you, be here now. Father, ere your inspiration holds together all that lives, as we breathe our minds see clearly, leading us to love and give. Raging whirlwind, whispered breezes, violent gale and gentle cloud, with the blade as sharp as morning east, we ask you, be here now. Brother fire, great transformer, share the passion of the sun. In our hearts your warmth revives us, cooks our food and heats our homes. Flaming candle, blood within us, blazing desert will to grow. With the wand directing power south, we ask you, be here now. Sister water ever flowing, ocean, river, pond and rain, drink we now and quench our thirsting, cleanse as we begin again. Mist and ice, a host of changes, all that courage will allow. With the cup, the holy chalice, west we ask you, be here now. Lover, spirit, intuition, in the center of our souls. In your love we find relation, all connected we are whole. Timeless mystery, quiet conscience, deepest values voice inside. With the drum and with the cauldron, this we ask you, be our God. Okay, have a seat, catch your breath. Our second reading is also by John Donahue. With respect and reverence, that the unknown between us might flower into discovery and lead us beyond the familiar field, blind with the weed of weariness and the old walls of habit.
Thank you so much, Kathleen, for your beautiful, beautiful singing. And thank you, Judy, for your piano. So beautiful. Just wanted to mention that David shared in the chat the link to that reflection sheet if you did want to download that. And if you're in person, I can make sure that gets emailed to you. Just holler. So, just a reminder of the circles, the widening the circle theme that we're holding today. Just giving yourself a breath to continue to recognize the circles that you're part of and that beloved community of People's Church. You might be at home, you might be in the sanctuary, you might be watching this later as a recording at midnight, who knows? You might be driving. Wherever you are, whenever you join, you're part of this circle, this widening circle. So as we continue reflecting on widening the circle, in a moment I'll be sharing my screen to show a 4-minute music video. It's called One by the band Bird Talker. And I wanted to let you know some viewer discretion. This video does have a couple of, I think, fairly benign, but that's up to you, swear words in the lyrics. So just wanted to tell you that. If you don't want to hear that and you want to take a 5-minute break, I totally respect that. It's the SH word, which if I was singing it, I would say stuff, but I didn't know how to bleep that, and the D word. So just give yourself a second to think about that. And I really struggled with this too, but I really think it's a beautiful, beautiful message. But if you don't want to hear it, again, I do respect that. So kind of a parental discretion is invited, and in all ages, discretion is invited. All that being said, the message itself is powerful and moving and beautiful, and I think deeply spiritual. So in addition to the music that you'll hear, we're given this gorgeous imagery to look at. I kind of think of looking at the imagery like Visio Divina or sacred seeing, a type of prayer or meditation. So I invite you to let these sounds and images, if you choose, wash over you as we hold this general notion of circles and webs of which we are all a part. As we're watching, you might consider what comes up for you as you look and listen. Where do you recognize your own longing and belonging? Here is the song.
I've played the teacher, the preacher, guru, maintaining posture, separating me and you, as if the thoughts of God were mine and mine to speak. I've listened with an agenda so I could prove all of the shit I believe to be true, just to hide the fear of being weak. Burn the scorecards, balance out the scales. We are one when distracted by our different sails. Underneath what's detectable with eyes, every particle's vibrating with the same light. Running around deciding who's right and wrong, and tell me, where are we headed? How can we all belong when all our logic is colliding and it's constant constantly dividing me from you. So damn those eager protestations on your tongue. Shut your brain up long enough to hear the lowly hum. Underneath what's detectable with eyes, every particle's vibrating with the one life.
Beyond the land of the right, the land of the wrong, there's a field waiting for us all. The notions of you, the notions of me, we finally agree, don't mean a thing.
Burnless scorecards balance out the scales. We are one when distracted by our differences. Damn those eager protestations on your tongue. Shut your brain up long enough to hear the lowly hum. Underneath what's detectable with eyes, every particle's vibrating with the one love.
So just giving ourselves a moment to let that resonate. Thinking about what came up for us as we listened. Any ideas, feelings? Where do you recognize your own longing and belonging? For me, there is just so much beauty and mystery in the circle of community, the wide, expansive circle of life which we are a part. The pieces in that video that really stood out for me was the scene where it looked like a couple diving off a cliff into water, and then it went under the surface, and I expected to see two humans plunging down in the water, but instead it was a beautiful turtle swimming just under the surface. Another scene that really stood out for me was the little child who was running in slow motion with just joyful abandon, running on the beach toward the water. And then the next image was a dragonfly flapping their wings in what I'm assuming is joyful abandon. Thinking of those connections, that sameness, that oneness in that huge mysterious circle. I first saw this video about 4 years ago when I was at a spirituality centers gathering, and every time I watch that, even though I've seen it for 4 years, I tear up because it's just so beautiful. And the scene that always seems to surprise me, like I forget that it's in there, is the scene of a needle playing on a record, so an old record player. And then it cuts to the planet Saturn, Who thinks about Saturn? I never think of that, but it gets me every time. And it just helps to remind me how vast our circle of belonging is. And it brings up a sense of longing to connect even more. Like sometimes I do forget the magic and the music of our solar system, an almost unfathomable circle that we're a part of. That sense of longing and belonging I can only describe as love, capital L, love. I am blessed to be part of our beloved community, always open, always wide, always expanding. Even if folks aren't in attendance today, if they haven't attended for years, they're still part of the circle. Might we reach out or hold them in our hearts? Maybe hold them in prayer. In a moment, we're going to hear a beautiful song that Brian Davis wrote called The Circle of All Things. I'll just invite us while we're listening to Brian's interlude. Where are our circles? Who are our circles? How are they ever widening and expanding? What a gift. What a beautiful gift. We are all in the circle. We don't have to be the center of the circle, but we're part of it. We're held by it in light, in blessing, in love. Amen, and blessed be. At this time, let's think about our time, treasure, and talent that we might want to contribute to the good work of People's Church. Your presence is certainly a gift. If you'd like to give monetarily, there are some ways you can do that, and they'll be on your screen. You can send a check to People's Church at the Gordon Avenue address. You can give online with your desktop or your laptop, going to our website, peoplesuu.org, and clicking on the Donate Now tab. Or you can use the Vanco app on your smartphone. And if you're in person, I believe there is a collection plate as well. And now we will gratefully give and receive this morning's offering and be gifted by the music of Brian Davis, The Circle of All Things. Thank you, Brian. Now, continuing in a spirit of meditation and prayer, I'd like to invite us for the next 5 minutes or so to enter into a guided loving kindness meditation. This is adapted from traditional Buddhist meditation or metta. I learned it from Jon Kabat-Zinn's book, Coming to Our Senses, Healing Ourselves and the World Through Mindfulness. And also, I continue to practice it in the form of a hymn, the song we'll be singing later together, Filled with Loving Kindness by Mark W. Hayes and Ian W. Rydell. So I invite us all to get comfortable in our chairs, maybe taking a deep breath or two. If it feels more natural for you to move around, you don't have to sit, you can move around and consider this. What we'll do is offer loving kindness to ourselves, then to someone else, expanding to all beings. And I invite us to remember that when we send loving kindness to all beings, we are included in that. So I'll ring a chime to start us and a chime as we end. Coming now into whatever posture is comfortable for you as we enter this time of loving kindness meditation. Beginning by giving ourselves some nice cleansing breaths. You can imagine breathing in love and breathing out love. Relaxing in our bodies, letting go of any busy things in our mind, being gentle with ourselves, knowing that it's natural for the mind to wander, inviting ourselves to bring the mind back. Breathing in loving kindness, filling our whole bodies with that, and breathing out loving kindness, offering that back to the world. Thinking to yourself, may I be filled with loving kindness. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be healthy and whole. May I be free from inner or outer harm. May I be well. Maybe putting your hand on your heart if that feels comfortable. May I be filled with loving kindness. Expanding our awareness and our intention of loving kindness to another, someone you really love with abandon. That could be a partner, a best friend, a parent, a child, a grandparent. This could be a dog, a cat, a horse, a favorite tree who loves you and who you love. Just bring one individual beloved being to mind. May they be filled with loving kindness. May they be peaceful and at ease. May they be healthy and whole. May they be filled with loving kindness. May they be free from inner or outer harm. May they be well. Noticing how it feels in the body and in the area around the heart. Noticing your breathing as we breathe in loving kindness and breathe out loving kindness. Next, expanding our awareness to a group. This could be your family, a circle of friends, the folks you work with. This could be people's church. Just bringing to mind a group. May they be filled with loving kindness. May they be peaceful and at ease. May they be healthy and whole. May they be free from inner and outer harm. May they be well. May they be filled with loving kindness. Stretching ourselves even further, if we can, to bring to mind a difficult person. Maybe this is someone you love, but you're having trouble right now. Any person that it's a little bit challenging, if you can, bringing them to mind, knowing that they too have hopes and dreams and cares. They too have people they love and who love them. If you can, stretching yourself and offering them loving kindness. May they be filled with loving kindness. May they be peaceful and at ease. May they be healthy and whole. May they be free from inner and outer harm. May they be well. May they be filled with loving kindness. And finally, expanding our awareness, stretching ourselves as much as we can to consider all beings, all people and animals and water and air, our solar system, our universe, as far as you can expand, microorganisms, flying creatures, swimming creatures, all beings. Remembering you're included with all beings. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. May all beings be peaceful and at ease. May all beings be healthy and whole. May all beings be free from inner and outer harm. May all beings, including ourselves, be well. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. Giving ourselves a few more cleansing breaths. Breathing in loving kindness. Breathing out loving kindness. knowing that you can always come back to this. At this time, we will light our candles. I'll light one at home with the intention of loving kindness for all beings. Kathleen will light candles in the sanctuary. If you're in person, please feel free to light a candle, or in spirit, light a candle at home if you don't have one, or if you're on the road.
And now, as Angie mentioned, we'll set that intention of being filled with love and kindness with our last song. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well.
May we be whole.
We'll extinguish our chalice in the sanctuary. We extinguish this chalice flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Next, we'll turn to Brian Davis once again for our postlude. January Thaw, written by Brian. Thank you so much, Brian, for that beautiful music today. Thank you all for being together. To close, a few lines repeated from the Rumi poem. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. The door is round and open. Don't go back to sleep. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we go in peace and look forward to when we are together again. Thank you all. Blessings.